Hey everyone! Welcome to Real Talk About Feminism. This is episode 22.
We're your hosts, Mackenzie
and Haley.
We have a lifestyle episode today. These are our favorite.
Yeah.
It'll be really fun. Any business? I don't think so.
I don't really think so.
Let's get into it then.
Yeah, let's do it.
So today's feminist highlight is Amy O'Sullivan. You've probably never heard of her. She's not a celebrity.
Never heard of her.
Okay, she's absolutely amazing. She was one of two nurses named of Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People of 2020. She is a registered nurse, and she has been an ER nurse specifically for 18 years. And the reason that she is on the cover, and she was named one of the 100 most influential people of 2020, is because, according to Time Magazine, quote, she treated New York City's first patient to succumb to the novel coronavirus at Wyckoff Hospital in Brooklyn, end quote.
Wow.
So after she treated him, she actually ended up getting COVID. And this was in the beginning of the pandemic, so people weren't wearing the proper PPE. Either it wasn't available or people didn't really understand all the precautions that needed to be taken. Right. So she ended up getting COVID and she was placed on a ventilator for 4 days. And after, she went home for 2 weeks to recover, and then she got right back into treating patients and working as if nothing happened. So because of that, she was on the cover. Very, very cool. And she's an awesome person. I respect the heck out of nurses. Our grandma and our aunts, they are nurses. They're absolutely amazing. And we have other family members who are nurses as well. And eventually, hopefully me and you will be too.
Yeah, we'll see whatever I end up doing with my life.
Me definitely. Haley, whatever you figure out.
I think like being on a ventilator, not that I've ever been on one, but I would assume that's a pretty traumatic thing.
Yeah.
So to just like, I don't think anyone would have faulted her if she took a little bit more time to jump into it, but like 2 weeks, that's crazy. Like I really have a lot of respect for her, and she saved a lot of lives, I guarantee.
A lot of lives. Very inspirational. Glad she was named one of the most influential people. That's awesome. She deserves it.
Yeah, totally. Well, today's episode, we decided to kind of go through some of our top bucket list items. So I think it would be kind of fun. Like, do you want to just like all share one, then you share one?
Yeah, let's just switch off. Yeah.
Okay, you go first. You share your first one.
So my first one, obviously, I want to travel. That's just like a blanket statement. But specifically at the top of my bucket list, I want to go to Japan and I want to go to Iceland. I want to go to Japan first because Jared's family is from there. His mom is Japanese and his grandma is still alive and she is living there and she's getting older. And so I want to meet her before she passes away. And so I want to go there in the next year or 2 years. I want to go to Iceland because I studied it extensively in an environmental science class that I took in high school. And I absolutely love their renewable energy plan. And I just want to go there. I think it's just so cool.
Yeah, for any like newcomers to the podcast, if you haven't listened to our ecofeminism episode, you should listen to that because Ken's talked about that, about Iceland and their plan.
That felt like so long ago.
I know.
Yeah, go listen to that episode. I think it was episode 10.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite ones we've ever done.
Yeah, and side note, I get sidetracked a lot, but that episode is only on Spotify right now, or where all the places that we have it up for audio only. It's not on YouTube.
Yeah.
But we're trying to get all the audios up on YouTube. So for now, you got to listen to that one on Spotify.
All right, you go.
Yeah, thank you for keeping me on track. So my first bucket list item, so just like you, blanket statement, I want to travel. Specifically, my top two places that I really want to go are Greece and Thailand.
Yes.
I've heard that Thailand is expensive to get over there because of the flight, but once you get there, it's extremely cheap. because it's very impoverished.
Same with
Which is
like
sad.
Bali, Indonesia. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to go to Thailand. Originally I wanted to ride elephants in Thailand, but I know that that's not humane, so I would not do that.
Yeah, hard
I would just
pass.
look at them. I do want to see elephants like in the wild in Thailand though, because I was watching this documentary. I love documentaries, and I was watching it with my cat the other night, and it's on Disney Plus, and it's like this animal migration series, and elephants. You probably know this because of the company that you work for, and the mascot is like elephants.
Hmm.
But elephants are like, it's like a matriarchal little society.
Hmm.
So everything depends on like the mother, and she like leads the migration, and also like the gestational period for elephants is 2 years.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's a long time.
they're pregnant for 2 years, and so when they have their babies, they're these little like prized possessions because it took so long for them to be
Yeah.
born. And so they just like really treasure their little baby elephants.
Oh.
And it was so adorable. And I was like looking at the little baby elephant roll around in the mud. And I was like,
So cute.
I have to see them in the wild in Thailand.
Yeah, you don't have to ride them, but like it'd be fun
Right.
to like pet them, feed them, give them
Or
a
just play
bath.
with
Yeah,
them.
play with
Yeah.
them. That'd be so fun. Yeah, Thailand would be awesome. Greece, like definitely top of my list too. I just want to
Greece,
live out my Mamma Mia dream.
I want to live out my Mamma Mia dream. Like, I honestly want to study abroad there, or like
Hmm.
maybe like I want to live over there. If I go to when I go to Greece, manifesting.
Hmm.
When I go to Greece, I want to live over there for like at least a month
That'd be really
and
cool.
just like hang out. I think it would be really cool. If you're my future husband out there, I don't know who you are, but if you're listening, I think it would be really cool to be proposed to in Greece.
Just an idea.
So, yeah, just an idea if you're out there, write that down. But yeah, that's my top bucket
That'd
list
be
item.
awesome.
Okay, what's your next one?
I would love to be in a place financially where both Jared and I could take at least a year off of work, maybe like a year and a half, and we could just travel. Somebody that I work with did that. She took a year off and just traveled the world before COVID. I was like, wow, just your luck.
Good timing.
Yeah, good timing. But I just think that'd be so fun, and like not necessarily like all international, but even in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I think that would be so fun. And like you can definitely like work up to it. Like even taking like a month off would be nice.
Yeah.
To just travel.
Yeah,
That'd
and
be so
with
fun.
some of these places, like especially Japan, like when Jared would go there when he was younger, they would stay there for 2 months because like by the time you travel and like that travel time is crazy. Like you still want to be able to see everything. So you kind of
Right.
have to stay at least a month in a lot of these places.
Yeah, because you're gonna be jet lagged
Uh-huh.
but it's expensive. So like you can't really just go for a
Right.
week.
Yeah. A week, like including travel time, that's crazy. It has to be like at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, but a month would be so nice.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
I
A
know.
year.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Okay, your turn.
That's a fun one. My okay, so one of my other ones is to go skydiving, and that's like pretty doable. Like I could definitely, it's expensive, but I could definitely do that within the next year if I wanted to.
Oh yeah.
But I know I wanted to do it on my 18th birthday, but my birthday is in November and it's cold in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember talking about that.
Yeah, I was gonna do it with mom because I know that dad wouldn't do it. But me and my best friend, we wanted to go this summer actually, and then I ended up moving back, so we couldn't. But yeah, I really want to do it. Maybe I'll do it in the spring of next year, like early, so it's warm. Skydiving would be so cool. The only thing I'm worried about is, okay, this is a very normal thing, so I won't be self-conscious about it. But I have like 2 implants in my teeth. It's like a lot of people have fake teeth, and so I'm really exposing myself right now.
No, girl, I have one too.
Yeah. So my worst worst fear is that my teeth are gonna fly out, and they're expensive. Like you can't
Uh-huh.
just like replace them. I
Well,
mean,
and it's
it's
like, and then
expensive.
what? You land on the ground and you have to smile for the picture.
Yeah, you have like no teeth because they're my front ones. So I would definitely be wearing a mouth guard, but like
Mhm.
I'm very afraid of that. That's my biggest fear was I'm not even like obviously when I would get up in the plane and be ready to jump off, I would be scared. But like when I think about skydiving, I don't even think like, oh, I'm scared to jump out of a plane. Like I think I'm scared my teeth are gonna fly
You
out.
unlocked a new fear for me. I never thought about that.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
I never thought about that. But it makes sense. Like there's so much force on your face. Oh man.
Well, because people like if you see videos, like their
Yeah.
cheeks are like being pushed open
Yeah.
by the air. So yeah, I would definitely wear a mouth guard. But
Definitely.
yeah,
Oh
that's my
man.
second bucket list item.
Okay, I put that on my list too because
Really?
yeah, I'd love to go skydiving. The thing though is like I like to try new things and like I feel like I have an adventurous side, but
Hmm.
it is so scary. Like I feel like I would start crying at the top of the plane. I really think like Jared would have to go first or like the other person like have to go first or something. I don't know. I want to do it just to
Um,
say I can because like people who go, they're like, "Oh, I would do it 100 times again." Like once you do it,
yeah.
it's no problem.
I think the thing, like, obviously, like I said, it would be different once I got up at the plane and I'm
Mhm.
looking down and I have to jump
Yeah.
off. But the thing is, like, you are literally strapped to
Yeah, they'll
someone.
push you off.
And so they push you off and they do all of the
Uh-huh.
controlling, they do the parachute, everything. And so, like, for me, I'm like, I'm not even like scared of like getting hurt
Uh-uh.
or like dying or anything. And I'm honestly like, I feel like I would just be like, let's go, let's do it. And of course, it would be different when I got up there, but like, I don't know. I feel like it would just
It
be
would be really
fun.
cool to do.
We should do it.
We should. It's like the
We'll
more
look
I
into
talk
it.
about it, the more nervous I get. Like my legs are like shaking right now.
Seriously?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to so bad, but it's also like that other side where it's like, oh, it's like you're literally falling from the sky.
Wow, I just don't think about it that way. That well, let's do
Yeah,
it.
we'll
We'll do
do
it. We'll
it.
conquer a fear.
Yeah.
So that was my second one. Now you do your
Well, okay,
third
I
one.
mine was skydiving too. So do you want to go again?
Oh no, you
Okay.
can go. We just had the same
So
one.
let's see. Okay, so one of my huge ones is once I become an RN, I would love to volunteer with organizations that go to developing countries to provide care. And in the last episode, we mentioned, no, this episode, sorry. In the feminist highlight, we mentioned like we have family members who are nurses as well. And so we've talked about doing that all together. That would be so fun. I would love to do that.
Hmm. Yeah, that is one thing that like I really wanted to do as
Hmm.
well. Um, so if I do end up doing nursing, like I think that would be really cool because we have talked about it a lot,
We
like
have, yeah.
doing that all together, volunteering.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Your turn.
um, so one of mine is to live in a van and like travel around the entire US or live in my car.
Hmm.
And the thing
With
is, I
Gigi.
actually yeah, with my cat. But it's kind of changed a little bit because obviously like different things have happened that we've talked about on here that have changed my perspective of like the world.
Hmm.
And so before I was like sexually assaulted, I didn't really nothing had ever happened to me. So like I was like, I'm fine. Like I could go travel alone as a woman, like it's fine. And don't get me wrong, like I've flown to a lot of places and traveled a lot and met people at the destinations. But I just now I don't think I could live in a van by myself. Like I just think it's very dangerous.
Yeah. But there are a lot of people that do that on TikTok like all the time. I see like I'm a single woman who lives in her van alone. And like usually they have like a cat or a puppy or something, but like they literally like some people have shown videos where like they have various like weapons hiding for self-defense. Like they have like certain safety precautions that they take in their car like at night and stuff. So it is doable, but
Yeah.
like you do have to just accept that you would have to take precautions. But it would be fun, like even for just like a few months or like a year, it'd be really cool.
I think I could maybe like I could do one trip by myself, but I just knowing me, I'm just like too paranoid now, and so I would prefer to do it with someone else.
Yeah.
And also, I'm like a very social person, and so I think I would go a little crazy by
Yeah, you
myself.
would.
Because even a 12-hour road trip that I've taken with my cat, I started to go a little crazy at the end. So, I've changed my bucket list item now, and I think I want to live in a van with my husband, like for even for a
Mhm.
summer, like three
That'd be so
months.
fun.
Um, yeah, my goal isn't necessarily a year, but like 3 months, live in a van for the summer, travel around, and just go wherever I want to go, visit family, and just hit up like whatever places I want to go. That's one of the ones that I want to do when I get married.
That would be so fun. That'd be such a fun honeymoon.
Yeah, my friend is actually kind of
Oh my
doing that. I
gosh,
don't
that'd
think
be
they're
so
living in a
freaking
van, but
fun.
yeah. That would be cute. That's a
Yeah,
good
you should do that. That'd be
idea.
fun. Like
That's
no
cute. Okay.
distractions. That'd be super cool.
Yeah, you like really get to spend time with your
Yeah.
spouse after you get married. Cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's mine.
Okay, so my next one is to visit every national park in the US and every state park in Colorado. Because, you know, it's our home state. You have to. So far the only national parks I've been to are Yellowstone, uh Bryce Canyon. I think that's it. Rocky Mountain, obviously. Rocky Mountain National Park.
Right.
But Jared and I got a national park yearly pass last year, and we were like, we wanted to take a Colorado road trip and go to all the national parks this summer, but like it just didn't work out. And so that's my
Mm-hmm.
goal. Like maybe like when we retire, or like you said, like for 6 months or whatever, like we would like get an RV and just travel around the US. Be really
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, I think that would be so fun. Like, um, I feel like we've been to
I
more
feel,
national parks than
yeah.
that.
I don't think so though. Oh, well, Redwood. But we were so little.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah, that would be really cool. Even just to like, I wonder how long it would take to hit up all the national parks in Colorado. Like maybe like 2 weeks.
Um Less than that. I mean, it just depends on how much you want to stay, you know.
Yeah. I feel like
2
2 weeks
weeks
would be
it would be.
nice, or like a week and a
Yeah.
half. And you guys have Aussie, that would be
Yeah,
fun.
so like like when we get more animals too, like when we have a bigger space, we would love to take our dogs with us. It'd be so fun.
Mm-hmm. That would be fun. That's a good
Yeah.
one. So
Yeah.
fun. Okay. One of my next ones, I really want to travel to all 7 continents. You guys can obviously tell we really want
Yeah.
to travel.
That's the main theme.
Um, yeah. I This year I've traveled a lot for me, I think. I've taken a lot of flights this
Mhm.
year. Mind you, some of them were coming home from school to visit, but I just really love that feeling of like going somewhere new. Like, who doesn't? I mean, I guess there's some people who don't, but I just think it would be so fun to travel to all 7 continents. I would say the the main place that I really would want to go is like to visit Europe,
Yeah.
because Europe is just so cool. I would probably spend like 2 months there. It's so cool because like you can just literally drive across
Yeah.
and you're in a different country.
And
And so like if you rent a car, it's just so easy to just go to all these
yeah, and
countries.
there's so much, like so much history, so much different culture. And
Hmm.
me and you, like we've really only traveled to like tropical places and like beaches
Yeah.
and stuff. So I think it'd be so fun to have that different side. And like yeah, there's beaches, Greece and all that, but other places in Europe where it's like focused more on like countryside, like the French countryside would be so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think like my top place in Europe that I would want to go to is France, because I took French
Mhm.
like from 7th grade to my junior year because I graduated early. So, um, like all the years I could, I took French, and we did a ton of study of the French
Yeah.
culture, and I just really loved it, and I honestly just like kind of fell in love with it. So I think it would be really cool to just go and visit. Like the French countryside is honestly just a dream.
It
Like I
really
really would
is.
love to go there. But they also have beaches there. And the thing that's so cool is that they do have like really good public
Mhm.
transportation systems. And so like you can go from like one country
Yeah.
to another just because it's literally divided by like a sign, like a little sign. Oh, now you're in
Right?
Germany. Oh, now you're here. Like it's just so easy to like go from country to country. So that is my top, to go visit all 7 continents, but I really want to go to Europe, like
Oh, that'd
really
be so
bad.
cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Okay, you go.
Okay. Um, so one thing that I really want to do is go on a train ride, but like for a long time. You know,
Oh.
I think somewhere in the US, I think along like the western coast, there's a train that goes like
Mm-hmm.
all the way from is it Washington or Oregon? That's at the top. Washington. All the
Washington.
way from Washington down to California. And that'd be so cool. Yeah.
Oh,
And it's not like
oh, that'd be
a
cool.
boxcar train. It's like a nice, cozy train. And like when Jared and
Mm-hmm.
I go to Japan eventually, like riding the bullet train, that'd be so cool.
Oh, I'm guessing it's a fast train.
Yeah. I think it's over 100 miles an hour. Yeah. It's really cool.
Whoa. That is so cool. Yeah, they like those trains, they've gotten really nice where you can sleep in
Yeah,
them.
like people stay in there.
And
Yeah. And you
yeah,
like get off at various
that
stops.
would
Yeah,
be
it'd be
cool.
really cool. I'd love to do it.
Yeah, I think that you and Jared should go and visit like the Oregon coast, because obviously, fun fact, actually, nah, we were born in Oregon. I don't know if that's like
Yeah, we were
personal.
born in Oregon.
Um,
Fun fact.
um, but okay, so we were born in Oregon, but where we were born wasn't like near
Mm-mm.
like the coast, like within, it wasn't like within an hour or anything like that. But it was a really tiny town, and we haven't been back there since we were like little. And we haven't even been back to Oregon, but spring break, obviously I've talked about it a few times. Like I went to the Oregon coast, and I fell in love with like the Portland area and just the coast, because like Portland was so nice, because it was just it's a
Mhm.
big city, but it didn't feel like that because there were so many trees and it was so green. And like I've heard from people like Oregon is so green.
Yeah.
Like I've heard that. But you don't actually really realize it until you go there. And it was just beautiful. And then the beach, like I didn't get in my swimsuit or anything because it was April, so it wasn't
Yeah, it
like
was cold.
warm. But it was warm enough though where I was wearing like jeans with holes in them and like a crop top, and it was really nice. But I really loved that side of the coast, because like you were saying, like we always go to tropical places, and like the different countries we've been to are like tropical, but the Oregon coast, and like I'm guessing the beaches in like Europe, some of them, like the French beaches, are just more of like, they're a little bit
Mhm.
colder, but it's more about just like
Yeah, it's
enjoying the
like more
scenery. I don't
scenic
know. I
instead of like
just
laying out and tanning. Yeah.
Yeah, like there was like so many trees around the beach, and there was all the rocks, like Haystack Rock, which is like super famous. Like I don't know, it was just such a different vibe than I've ever done before, and I
I
absolutely
want to go
loved
so
it.
bad.
I think yeah, you and Jared should go. It was so fun. So
Oh
fun.
man.
I would consider moving there,
Wow.
quite
Okay.
honestly.
I was jealous of your trip cuz you like when you got back like you talked about it for so long cuz it is different. Like we haven't really been to that part of the country.
Yeah, and it was really cool, and like, it was just interesting, like seeing the differences, like how different even just travel in the U.S. can be, like
Mhm.
how different Oregon was from Colorado and from
Mhm.
California, or from tiny
Or
little Idaho that
Florida,
I was
yeah.
in. Yeah, like it's so different. And Washington, anyone who's listening, comment on whatever platform you're listening to. If you've been to Seattle, tell me what you thought of it, because we have different opinions, and I've told Ken's this, but part of my Oregon trip was going up to Seattle in Washington. I did not love it. I would not go there again, but I'm glad that I did go, because we did like
Mhm.
the marketplace and everything, and it was awesome. And I'm glad that I went to experience it. But it was so big and so stressful, and there was just a lot going on. But my parents went another time and they loved it. So tell me what you thought of it, because I have different opinions from different people I've talked
Yeah,
to.
and I know there's a lot of people that love Seattle. I personally would go to see the Grey's Anatomy house, but that's just me. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go too. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's just about seeing different places. And like even though Portland and Seattle are fairly close to each other, you got completely different
Yeah, it was like
vibes from
3
them.
hours. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like so different. And it was cool because we drove along
Hmm.
along the coast, so definitely smelled like
Yeah.
fish, but it was
That's
cool.
awesome. Okay, that was like a piggyback
Yeah.
off mine. So do you have another one you want to share?
Um, I don't have any more written down, and I'm just kind of thinking like this stage of my life that I'm in right now is kind of a discovery
Hmm.
phase. I don't know what I'm doing, honestly. I'm very indecisive, just trying to figure out like where I want to go with my
Hmm.
life. Um, so also if you have suggestions. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to think like, cause like for you, you had the one about like being an RN in
Hmm.
like a third world country, and that's always something I wanted to do. Um, I would say like I want to be able to bring about like wide scale change to causes that I'm really
Hmm.
passionate about. Specifically funding for pediatric
Hmm.
cancer. I really want to like lobby in Washington D.C.
That would
for
be
that.
so cool.
Yeah, and I know that there's like a lot of different groups for that, like that will help with that. So I would say like one of my bucket list items is to like be able to witness and be a part of large and wide scale change for like pediatric
Yeah,
cancer
and
funding.
you're the perfect
That'd be really
person for
cool.
that. Like you've already organized and hosted the Women's March in Rexburg. That was a big deal. It might not have been world news, but it was very cool. Like it made a huge impact on a lot of
Hmm.
people. So yeah, you'll figure it
Yeah.
out though.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that would be like my last item that I would want to highlight. I think that would be
Yeah,
really awesome.
be really cool.
Do
I
you have any
have
more?
one more that's actually going to get fulfilled. I have two actually, two and one that's going to get fulfilled
Ooh.
in December. So for my
Yeah.
birthday, which was in June, Jared surprised me with Hamilton tickets in New York in December. So New York has always been on my bucket list. We love Hamilton ever since it came out on Disney Plus, and so we're going to
Hmm.
New York in December, and we're going to see Hamilton on Broadway. So I'm super excited. I
Yay!
know.
I'm very jealous of you
I know.
guys.
I'm so freaking
It'll be
excited though.
so
Like New
fun.
York at Christmas time, and we'll be there for New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. So like we'll literally be in Times Square to see the ball drop. Yeah. Yeah,
Are you
because
serious?
the show isn't until January 3rd of 2022. So like we're gonna be there the day after Christmas until January 3rd, January 4th. Yeah.
Literally, okay, I just remembered this. Last year, I taught when I watched the ball drop and I was home with all you guys. I was like, next year I will be in New York watching
Yeah.
the ball drop. And now I'm very jealous because I know that's probably not going to happen. But
Thank
I'm happy
you.
for
I'm so
you that you'll
freaking
be there.
excited.
That
I
would be
literally
really
cried.
cool.
Like when he told me, I literally cried.
I
I'm so
would. That's
excited.
awesome.
So yeah, that one will be fulfilled and we'll slowly start checking things off. Yeah.
That's so cute. We
Oh,
have to
of
take lots of
course.
pictures.
Of
You'll have to
course.
share them on the podcast
Definitely.
account when
Yeah, it'll
it
be so
comes.
fun. Yeah.
That's so fun. Well, we want to hear from you guys. We will put a poll on Instagram about your bucket list items because maybe that will give
Yeah,
us some of your bucket
definitely.
list
I'm
items too,
so
like
open.
that,
Like
just to
when
add.
we were planning, I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel like all I want to do is travel, which is true, but I was trying to think of like different experiences that I could do that are very cool, like once in a lifetime kind of things. Like the skydiving, like not a lot of people do that. Yeah, so let us
Right.
know.
Yeah, no. Yeah, let us know like what you have on your bucket list and comment below so that we can like interact with you guys, because I definitely want to add some new things to my bucket list, and I mean, we've been in this pandemic for like almost 2 years now, so I want to just get out there and do some stuff. So give me some ideas.
Our Instagram is @RealTalkAboutFeminism. Give us a follow on there, and we'll be back next week with episode 23. Bye.
Bye.